WWE news, WWE rumors, the wrestling headlines, the extravaganza that it is, the unapologetic Sean's View Entertainment. Blockbuster updates on your afternoon. What might be your lunch hour? You might be finishing lunch, you might be having lunch, or you might have just been finishing lunch. Either way, you're in the path of Sean's View Entertainment, and we're going to make you feel great in some sort of way. Remember to donate. So important to donate, or click the link in the pinned comment section, guys. So important. Click the link in the pinned comment section of the comment section under this video and donate to the show. If everybody donated $2, $5, $10, it would go a hell of a long way in helping preserve and save the future of Sean's View Entertainment so it can be absolutely universal. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another death on our hands. We have another sad, sad report. But ladies and gentlemen, right at the top, breaking news. It is being broke down why WCW's Goldberg's 179-0 winning streak was ridiculous. According to those who know, what did you think about the Goldberg streak? 179-0, one of the most dominating, one of the most amazing streaks in professional wrestling history. It doesn't get much more dynamic than Bill Goldberg. And Kevin Nash is bringing it down, breaking it down, talking about it, and bringing it up. Some would be upset, some would be mad, some would be sad, or some would say, well, it's justified. As we all know, Bill Goldberg retired from WWE last year, and now in the midst of that, you got John Cena who retired, we got AJ Styles who will be retiring. How is the WWE going to fill up the roster? How is the WWE going to be able to answer to that? Because you need those characters, you need those personas. And it just seems like we really don't have that in 2026. The WWE has a hell of a long way to go with that because remember, here on the show, without you, there is no show. And if you remember to hype, like, and comment. I don't want anybody to be shy. If you got a cell phone, an iPhone, a laptop, a desktop, a PC, a TV, I want you to let your comments, I want you to let it be known right now. Also, 2 of AEW's best signings ever. Ladies and gentlemen, according to the dirt sheets, the websites, and the newsletters, at this time and at this hour, we do have an update. Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey are being called 2 of AEW's best signings ever. Do you agree with that motion? Do you agree with that sentiment? Do you think that that is spot on? Your thoughts, your comments, your opinions, your emotions on all of that. Also, breaking news as it concerns a former WWE champion, a former WWE star in talks for a full-time wrestling return. Yes, not part-time, not some of the time, a full-time wrestling return. Former WWE champion John Bradshaw Layfield, JBL. Looks like WWE Hall of Fame JBL might be lacing up the boots on a regular basis once again. But here's the difference, here's the caveat. It won't be for WWE. According to the Wrestling Observer Daily Update, John Bradshaw Layfield is in talks to become a full-time performer with Juggalo Championship Wrestling, JCW, where he's made several surprise appearances in recent years. JCW reportedly wants Layfield for a recurring role on their weekly television show, marketing what would be his full-time gig in wrestling since retiring after WrestleMania 25 in 2009. JBL has already made multiple moves that has hinted at a comeback. He returned to in-ring action for the first time in over a decade at WrestleCade Super Show in November of 2025, just a couple of months ago, where he won a Battle Royal. So JBL is on his way to the wrestling path. What do you think about the return of JBL to in-ring action once again? Your thoughts, your comments, and your feedback on all of that. Also, we got some breaking news, some tragic news, a miscarriage of justice. Very saddening, very maddening, very unexpected. Ladies and gentlemen, the 3 faces of Foley. Mick Foley, who has stirred up a lot of controversy online with his sentiments, his comments, and his beliefs. Mick Foley delivered hot-breaking news to fans on January the 26th, 2026, revealing that his mother had passed away following a long battle with dementia. The WWE Hall of Famer shared this update in a deeply personal Facebook post that explained why he wrestled with whether to make the loss public at all, which ultimately decided to honor her life in a tribute that could help other families going through the same experience. Foley opened up about acknowledging the weight of the moment and the private nature of his mother, explaining that even this post came with a great deal of internal debate. It is with a heavy heart that I share the news of my mother's passing following a long battle with dementia. My mother was an intensely private person, and I have struggled in trying to decide whether I should make her passing public. He shared that her will requested no visitations, no funeral, and not even an obituary, but the family ultimately felt that a tribute would be meaningful not just for them, but for others living through similar pain. In the end, we as a family felt it would be good for all of us if there was a tribute of some kind to a remarkable woman. Knowing that I am far from alone in being a child of a parent stricken with such a devastating illness, I am hoping that by writing this tribute, other families in the same situation will know that they are not alone. So if you're wondering where the legendary Mick Foley thriftiness came from, it was from my mom, and those lessons learned have served me well over the years. Foley also revealed the powerful details about her strength, including that she had battled polio as a child without ever speaking of it for decades. He credited her for the loving of reading and learning as the foundation for his own creative life, saying her encouragement played a direct role in his success as an author. Again, he credited her for her love of reading and learning. And then the post reflected on how this mother became woven into wrestling history through the nickname Mrs. Foley's Baby Boy, a phrase that evolved into part of his on-screen identity after a 1997 interview with Jim Ross on Raw. He shared that just weeks before her passing, his family was still able to say goodbye while she was alert, holding on to the hope that she could hear every word spoken. This wasn't just an announcement. It was a deeply human moment from one of wrestling's most beloved figures. Foley's willingness to share the reality of the loss, the dementia, and family pain stripped away the performer and left only the son speaking from the heart. What part of Mick Foley's tribute resonated with you most, and have you experienced something similar in your own family? It all boils down to each and every one of you, no matter your political views, no matter your views, no matter your stance. Obviously, this is a very detrimental, a very traumatizing thing. Also, breaking news. WCW Nitro. What's going on? A comeback, a return? What is going on? Well, according to the details, the rumors, reason why WCW's planned NWO Nitro show was actually scrapped. It was canceled. It was something that was thought of. It was something that should have materialized. Was it going to be justified? Would it have been a good idea? Again, there was going to be, instead of WCW Nitro, there was plans for an NWO Nitro, but those plans ultimately folded. Also, ladies and gentlemen, breaking news on the Royal Rumble. Remember to donate below, guys. So important to become a channel member. Donate or click the link in the comment section of the video. It will be in the first comment, the pinned comment down below. Seth Rollins addresses the idea, again, the idea of possibly returning in the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia this Saturday. Now, wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be special? Wouldn't that be spectacular if something like that were to occur? Do you want to see Seth Rollins return in the Royal Rumble this weekend? And you know what? I got to say it. This year's Royal Rumble, you can't just pinpoint one person and say, all right, he's winning for sure. I bet my house. I bet my car. I bet all my money. You can't just say that because there's all these different things. And this just coming in right now, breaking news. Brock Lesnar announced as a participant in the Royal Rumble match. You heard that right. You heard that correct. Also, breaking news on another retirement in the WWE. As if we hadn't had enough between Goldberg, John Cena, and then AJ Styles this weekend at the Royal Rumble. Now we got another name added into the mix. As you can see, the fix is absolutely in, viewers. Seth Rollins says that he is getting closer to the end than the beginning, but still in his prime. So Seth Rollins is already thinking about retirement. Boy, the WWE is really going to have to go back to the drawing board and find the future and the building blocks of the WWE. The WWE is really going to have to excel in the youth department. I can tell you that right now. And the WWE seems to be on that trajectory right now. But they're going to have to go all out with it. I can assure you of that here on Sean's View Entertainment. So what do you think about Seth Rollins addressing retirement sooner rather than later? Also, AEW Grand Slam Australia 2026 air date revealed, exposed, leaked online, according to the dirt sheets, the websites, and the newsletters. Also, Drew McIntyre is finally the undisputed WWE champion. Drew McIntyre explains why he attacked Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu on WWE's Saturday night's main event, the main attraction. Now, he went into this, and Drew McIntyre has finally explained himself after detonating one of the most chaotic moments of Saturday night's main event, and his reasoning reframes the entire situation. I was doing everyone a favor. That short message says everything about how Drew McIntyre views the situation. Rhodes and Fatu had turned out what was supposed to be a marquee singles match turned into a runaway spectacle that endangered personnel, disrupted the broadcast, and overshadowed the rest of the card. McIntyre's update makes it clear that he believes he stepped in to restore order. And again, viewers, it all boils down to your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions. Also, another big update on the Royal Rumble 2026. Brandy Rhodes reveals status for WWE Royal Rumble. Will we see Brandy Rhodes make her WWE in-ring debut? You just never, ever know from the get-go. How would Brandy Rhodes fit in to the current WWE Women's roster? Also, the WWE 2K26 release window possibly revealed. Now, you know, a lot of people love video games. They especially love the WWE 2K franchise, although I still feel that the best 3 games ever in the history of WWE gaming was WWE No Mercy, WWE SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, and between No Mercy and Here Comes the Pain, and the third one, maybe Shut Your Mouth. Maybe SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, viewers. Although some of the Raw versus SmackDown series was pretty good as well. So the date being revealed, being spilled, the WWE 2K26, your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions. Also, Madison Rayne addresses potential Hall of Fame induction into TNA. Your thoughts, your comments, and your best moments of Madison Rayne. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we are receiving word at this hour, at this time. And yet another big magnitude update, ladies and gentlemen. The brutal loss. The wrestling world is now reacting in kind. Reacts to the Denver Broncos' brutal loss. The brutal AFC loss to the New England Patriots, ladies and gentlemen, as the Patriots are indeed going to the Super Bowl. And we all know the Super Bowl of professional wrestling is WrestleMania. That is what the hype, that is what the excite is all about. The intangibles are absolutely epic as it concerns that. Also coming down the pike here on Shaw Entertainment, where we're hoping that everything is all right again. We survived this winter storm. It's brutal. It seems like it's coming down once again. Samantha Irvin teases wrestling return. Historic pairing with Ricochet, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you heard that right. Historic pairing. Also, Canadian pro wrestler fired after Ice shirt. We all know what's going on with Ice. We all know the debacle. We all know the controversy. Ice shirt sparks backlash and the promotion forced to apologize. Lillian Garcia replacing Alicia Taylor on tonight's WWE Raw due to flight cancellations. Again, this weather storm, this winter storm, this blizzard has had huge implications on the WWE. And how did it affect you, if it even affected you at all? I know in my neck of the woods, it affected me a hell of a lot. But luckily, looks like I survived and thrived it. Thanks to the viewers, the fans, and the subscribers. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is Monday Night Raw. Again, there was a lot of rumor and gossip. There was a lot of whispers about whether Raw was going to happen tonight, whether it was going to go on. But ladies and gentlemen, it seems like, as they say, the show must go on, weather permitting. Plenty more to come. Multiple updates, multiple videos. Remember to click the bell, subscribe, turn on all notifications for the brash and the brazen, because this is your prominent destination. Later.